glad to be able to share it with you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Josh. I'm the best man. I've known James for many years now, and Krista as well. I'm also their neighbor who used to tag along on their dates, and an amateur wedding cake maker, probably never again, and uncle to their four-legged baby, Karen. So, it's my introduction. First of all, I'll talk about James. I've known James for about 9 years now, and I still remember the day I met him quite vividly. And I'm looking at James. I don't think he remembers. It was 9 years ago when I started school at UBC. We were living in the same residence together at Totem Park. And I remember going to the cafeteria with my brother Andrew. We're twins, so we're going to school at the same time. And he introduced me to this guy that he had met the night before, James. So I see this really thuggish looking Asian guy. I remember thinking, wow, that's one mean looking dude. Yeah. And they say first impressions are lasting ones. Quite often, though, first impressions are really incorrect ones. It turns out this guy wasn't this thug from the ghettos of Delta at all. He was one of the most kind-hearted, generous, and loyal guys that you'll ever meet. And over the years, I've known James he's the type of guy who'll stand by you no matter what. And I think, Krista, you should feel really heartened that this is the kind and caring and generous and loyal guy that you've chosen to spend the rest of your life with. I know James will be, he'll be here for me as a friend for many years, but he'll be by your side for a lifetime, and I think you should really take that to heart. I also want to maybe share a story. I don't want to bore everyone. I know I'm standing between you guys and dinner, so too long-winded here. But like I said, I've known James and Krista as a couple right from the beginning, and maybe I'll share a little anecdote about them at the start of the relationship. I think we were in third year at UBC, and I remember the three of us were in the same psychology class. I think it was Psych 308, which is social psychology. So it's interesting because if any of you have taken these kinds of courses, these are the types of courses where you learn about the wacky things people do because they're in love or something like that. Right? So it's funny because really unfolding before my eyes was a bit of a case study. So I was basically in the observing mode. I was watching James, and I knew he had this thing for Krista. And I remember every class, I think we had the class twice a week, every class he insisted on, even though we had absolutely no intentions of showing up to class at all. We passed, don't worry. You didn't hear that, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. So we had absolutely no intentions of showing up to class, but each and every time I remember James would insist on showing up, and for a while I couldn't figure out why. I'm like, what's the point? We're going to show up for the first couple minutes and then take off. But it became pretty clear to me pretty quickly that it was to see Krista, even if it was just for those few minutes in the day. He'd take a few minutes out of his day as an honor student to see the girl that he had a crush on. So I've known James and Krista for, I guess, 5 years now.
Yeah, more than 5.
Yeah.
No, we've been together 5
You should
years.
know.
Yes, 5 years.
James, you better get it right.
It's about you right now.
Yeah. So over the years, I know that I've sort of watched before my eyes their love for each other and how it's grown over the years. And I know it's taken them through some really joyous times, but it's also allowed them to overcome some challenges. And many of you might know this, but James is fairly ill a few years ago, and he spent some time in the hospital. And this is pretty early in their relationship. And one thing that really struck me was how devoted Krista was even early on in their relationship. And I really noticed that, and I think really her devotion and compassion was recognized by James, and James appreciated that, and I honestly think that really helped him to recover as well as he has. And so James, I think you should really be heartened by the fact that this is the girl that you're choosing to spend the rest of your life with. A kind and caring and compassionate person like Krista. So I have, absolutely no doubts about you two together. I think you're going to have a wonderful lifetime together. And I've been told I'm supposed to offer some kind of sage advice to you guys, but since I have 0 years of married experience, I'm not sure how sage this advice would be. And I thought about this for a little bit. I'm like, what am I supposed to say, right? So I thought, okay, well, I have a message for James specifically. I've got 4 words for you, James. Happy wife, happy life. Remember those 4 words. But I'm also a bit of a hopeless romantic and a bit of a philosopher too. So if I were to give you a piece of serious advice, not that that's not serious, it's to, I guess if I were to give you advice, it'd be just to rely on each other's strengths and be quick to forgive each other's weaknesses, because there'll be ups and there'll be downs in any relationship, and you guys have been through a lot over the last 5 years, and really what you've been through in the last 5 years is sort of a practice of sorts for the rest of your life, and I have absolutely no doubts that you guys will have a long and happy life together. So at the risk of being too long-winded here, I think James is reaching for his alcohol. That's a hint to wrap it up. So I just really wish you two all the best, and I cherish my friendship with both of you, and really I think you guys really do lead by example as a loving couple, and I look forward to seeing that love flourish over your lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess please join me in raising a glass to James and Krista, and a long and happy lifetime together.
Thank you.